Hello folks, I was asked to make a short video on how I apply heat set powders to polymer clay. I'm making this specifically for the Polymer Clay Tribe Facebook group, but anyone can view it. My name is Montarsi. I hope you enjoy this video and see my other videos. Don't forget to like and share. The links to DAZZLE Dust products on the CreateAlong page will be in the description. There are at least 7 3-color sets that I've seen on the site. There may be more and other special tools you might like to have. So please check out CreateAlong.com. I will also have a link to the Facebook group for the tribe in the descriptions. Feel free to join. There's lots of sharing that goes on in that group. You will also find links to my other videos as well as CreateAlong videos for this product. Hello folks, just wanted to make a quick little video that Kira asked me to make. I'm working at my kitchen sink and I have a new glass board across it, but it has the plastic on it, so I just have the cardboard box on here. Anyway, so this is in reference to her DAZZLE Dust powders. I don't have them yet, but I have a very similar product, but I don't think it's as strong as hers. But it's a powder, and it's a heat activated powder, and it's very, very fluffy. It's not like cornstarch as far as consistency. It's finer than that, and it's drier than that, so it doesn't stick and clump. Now, one thing I recommend before you use some, the fluffier it is, the better. Okay, I'm gonna try to show you this. You can see how full that is. Well, in these type of powders, and when they use them in like the automotive industry and other places, they fluff them. They actually blow air into them before they use them. So if you can do something gentle like this, just turning them over and getting air into the particles, it does give you more volume of powder. Anyway, that being said, so I have some pieces here like this that I want to cover with the powder. And Kira in her video was dipping in it. And the way I do it, you get a nice even coat. And it's very easy. Now, first of all, these pieces on the tile, these are what I call risers. You can use, bolts, nuts, washers, pieces of scrap clay. If you use something with paint on it, I would make sure it was upside down so it doesn't stick to the bottom. And then these are things I want to coat. Okay, now this is a button, and I don't want to fill the holes up. So I need something like this washer shape to make sure that my holes are clear. I also have the thing underneath is not as big as the piece you're coating. You want that overhang. And I will put this on a tile like this, and I'll load up my tile with different things. This one's probably too big. Well, that'll work. Just make sure the holes are clear and that it's raised above the surface. I have some earrings in the oven right now, and I'll pull them out and do those. But I just want to show you how I load them. This one I would need something more specific. I don't have something for that. Here I could use, you can see the washer in there. It has to be something that'll clear the hole on the inside and the outside and not be hanging out over the edge. So like that would work. Something like this too. Now for earrings, I don't have any earrings. I have some in the oven. But if you had an earring stud with the stud already embedded in the back, you could stick them into something that's heat proof, like, I don't know, a sponge. Some cellulose sponges you can put in the oven. But if you can get them standing up like that and heat them up, I use my oven. I don't have my my heat gun here right now, but I would finish them up. I would have it here and ready and just zap them, because the oven does the bulk of the work for you. So I'm gonna unscrew this lid and have this ready. And what I do when I put it on, I'll show you this first. Make sure it's fluffed and try not to breathe in. I load my brush, and this is a makeup brush. It's a very fine, soft brush. So I load it up and then I tap it off once, because that dumps a lot. I don't know if you saw that or not. I mean, just one tap and it like drops a lot, but there's still a lot in there. I'm gonna pull my pieces out of the oven now and then I'll continue. Push this over a little. Okay, these have been in the oven about 20 minutes. And I hope I'm in the camera. Okay. So then, okay, I load my brush. I tap off the excess, just one tap. And then I just baby taps close to the surface of these. And then, you know, you get to where you're good at it. I probably had too much to start with. You don't want clumps. It will level out a little bit, at least this brand, but this is an automotive product. But you just keep going. And it's on a hot tile, so they're gonna stay warm so you have more working time. And I hope I had them in there long enough. I usually don't go that thick there, just light dustings. And there seems to be a breeze in here today. I don't know if I got that one. And like with my buttons, it'll go down through the holes and it doesn't clog them. You can see it's melting in on some of them. Now these are pretty big pieces. I wouldn't normally do pieces this big, but it does work. Don't brush it. Don't touch it with your brush. Just let it melt in. Okay, I'm gonna stick these back in the oven for a minute and I'll come back on the video. Okay, I'm back out of the oven and you can see the shine coming up. It's a little pebbly because it's a thin layer, so I'm gonna go back over it again. And I go very light. You have a lot more control. And don't be afraid to work with less instead of loading your brush up. You don't want to dump. You don't want to dump puddles of it. But you can see it melting in. And I have my, these were already baked. I put them on risers. On my tile, I have a piece of patty paper kind of pulled tight with tape on the corners. And I can scrape it off my tile with a blade, but just saving myself some work. Oh, I got kind of heavy on that. I'll dump some heavy stuff on there, just so you can see what happens. But I prefer to go in layers. And like if I was working on a lot of things, I'd have one in the oven and one that I'm working on and switch them out and go back and forth. Got a kind of a dump there. Okay, I'm going to, at this point, because that's all melting, I would put this back in the oven and probably bring it out. I'm going to use my heat gun. Let it get hot for a second. But this, at this point, it's already sticking. It's already sticking to the clay. So you're not going to be blowing dust all over the place. And it's also stuck to your paper because the paper was hot. So anything that got loose on the paper is going to stick to the paper. Just make sure your support underneath is good. I don't have a high-powered heat gun. And I didn't have it pre-warmed. Now I think I'm going to hold these up. Kira's powder looks thicker. I can't wait to get some to try. But you can see these are getting the shine. They need another coat. So instead of fooling with the heat gun, I'll just go back in the oven. And I will leave them in there. And once it gets enough on there, I'll just let the oven do most of it and use the heat gun for a high shine. The higher your temperature you can get these types of products at without burning them or scorching them, the stronger they are for most products. I'm not familiar with hers, but this is how I put it on my pieces. Gonna have a wreck here. You can see these are cool. They're still slightly warm, so I don't want to touch them. And this stuff, you know, when it's hot, it's sticky. Let it cool. One little quick point also I wanted to point out. These were some scrap earrings. And you can see how on this one, because I had it on a riser, the heat made it droop. All I did was after I was done, and it was hard, I put it on a flat tile and heated them up again, and it went flat. Also, the holes did not clog. These were drilled beforehand. I was using a clear powder, but the intent of Dazzle Dust is more for sparkle and color, and there's different effects you can get with textures. It's also usable on metal components and probably wood as well. And when you're at CreateAlong.com, be sure to check out my video classes available as well as my specialty tools. Thanks again. Like and share.